From ignored and forgotten to seen, appreciated, and understood. That's the transformation Richmond Futch Jr. hopes will happen with his new exhibition. The revered Rochester artist will showcase his new work in a one-night-only event later this month. The exhibit is called Out of the Shadows, making the invisible visible through art. The concept is to capture the spirit of our homeless culture in Rochester and to see those fighting poverty, addiction, and mental illness as people and nothing less than that. I recently stopped by Richmond's studio to learn more. Take a look. Richmond, I understand that it has long been a dream of yours to bring art to our city's homeless population. And the mission kind of came into fruition beginning in 2016. So tell me a little bit about the ways in which you believe art can have an effect on those dealing with homelessness, addiction, and so on.
I believe art can bring a sense of calmness. You tend to forget about your troubles because of the environment I try to create, and just being involved in creating trying to create something that you're used to do when you're young as a child. When we were a child, we always know we can draw and we're an artist. But I try to create the environment where they can just be a sense of peace, sense of forget about their concerns that day and their challenges for that day, and just create whatever's in their mind, and just to have a sense of quietness.
What do you think that it is about art that just allows that sense of quietness and peace to kind of come over somebody as they're working?
Art is like music. It transcends different cultures, different races, different nationalities. It just brings, because of that creative spirit, that creative dynamic that we all have. And that it's just, it helps to cross all borders. We can just, it don't have to be no masterpiece, it just be something that you enjoy doing.
Well, in this past year, you joined forces with fellow artist Deborah Van Wert of Rock City Art, and you formed this weekly workshop together called Revelation Rochester, revealing the artist within.
Correct.
So the workshops take place at both St. Joseph's House of Hospitality and also House of Mercy. Describe for people what takes place in these classes each week.
Well, they love to come there because of the difference, the tranquility of it. And they seem to use somewhat, for lack of a better word, therapy. Close to the hair, that when you get the shadows.
Okay.
To quiet the nerves. I've heard them talk about it many different times about how it seems to quiet them down because of both places, it's really chaotic. A lot of noise, a lot of different conversations going on. Sometimes there's a lot of loud discussions that isn't always peaceful. So they enjoy coming there, just a sense of because of the environment, because of the atmosphere, and just be able to be childlike again. And some of them are very good. Matter of fact, I have run into some very gifted artists that come to Rochester Arts.
Well, we stopped by a class of yours last week to meet some of the participants at Hard at Work and to see their work and to really hear their stories. And one gentleman by the name of Michael, he showed me this drawing that he was working on. And at first glance, it looked like maybe a landscape drawing of some sorts. But when he started to explain it to me and the meaning behind it, it was clear there was a lot of symbolism and a lot of emotion attached to his work.
My name is Michael, and I'm a recovering addict. And this drawing reflects about where I used to use and the area I used in and how I mistreated it. And it's going to reflect on my life from now on to keep me from using openly. I feel hurt. I feel depressed, and now I'm trying to come out of it by putting it on paper. You know, it's beautiful. It's beautiful that I can still remember this, because a lot of people can't remember. You know, so this is me, my life square, and this is what I came. This is what educated me, and we used it to do our drugs. These are the benches we sat on, sidewalk we walked, This is the drug house looking at us. The first thing I asked was, give me a pencil. Not a coloring crayon or nothing. I'm taking it back to the beginning. And I say the same thing with my life now. I'm trying to take it back to where I started from.
And Richmond, at one point, Michael was in tears as he was reflecting, you know, on his life and the choices that he had made as he kind of was talking about his path of recovery that he's working to pursue. He said drawing that piece of art helped things come full circle for him. How often, I mean, is that a rare story for you to hear when you're in class and working with some of the individuals who participate?
It's not that rare, but with Michael, he goes into detail and he's open. And that's what surprised me about Michael. He was very detailed about what he did, how he did it, and he was able to go back to that scene in real life, but he felt very comfortable drawing it out. And each symbol he had in there represent something that he did or something that he remembers he used to do when he was in his addiction. So now he can go back to that same area and just reflect and don't remind himself you don't want to do that again.
I think it's so powerful, the ability to be able to do that through art.
Yes.
Because as he said to us, he said it's a beautiful thing to be able to see where you are versus where you are right now.
Yeah, it's almost like exposing it now. You don't have to keep it inside of him. He just put it down on paper and it's right there now.
Exactly. Well, you have created a new body of work, which is influenced by your work with our community's homeless population. And you'll be showcasing your new paintings in an exhibit called Out of the Shadows, Making the Invisible Visible Through Art. First, explain the meaning of the title.
Out of the Shadows, to me, represents the homeless are in the shadows. You don't want to see them. They're seem to be non-existent. I want to bring them out because they're real people with real stories, real backgrounds, and they have challenges and they have loved ones and they have future ambitions also to get their lives changed around. I want to bring them out of the shadows so that others can see them and see them for who they are, one individual at a time.
So explain, what will people see in this exhibit? Who will they get to meet?
I think it should open up the idea they can try to talk to some of them. Get to know them as individuals because they have some remarkable stories. And I believe we can just expose them as real people, real human beings, and not just they are homeless, those people. They're not just those people, they're real people. They're God's people, just like we are all God's people. And I think that should remind us that keeping them in the shadows and keeping them as if they don't exist is not helpful for them or us as a society.
In what ways, I know you've gotten to know some of the individuals who come to the painting workshops, some of their faces will be seen in this new exhibit. In what ways have you noticed that some people have grown, have been impacted by coming to these classes each week?
For one, they were very proud that I would paint them. That's the first thing that they felt very proud of. Then also, it's not just leaving it in the art room. I get to know them personally. I like the way you add a little detail. I've even helped one of the guys get his life turned around. I introduced him to Action for a Better Community for a focus program that they have. He's went through the training program. Now he has a full-time job. He's able to take care of his kids now. He's able to get back in life, the challenge of life, the real life, and not just in the homeless society. He's going back to the homeless shelter, helping his other friends also. So he's like carrying the torch forward because it doesn't stop in the art room. I want to see a holistic approach to these men, especially the ones I get to know individually and understand how I can help them grow.
What has been most rewarding for you working on this new exhibit that's coming out and also through Revelation Rochester?
Introducing them to Rochester, introducing them to the city of Rochester, to help them get that sense of peace, to help them change their life around, help them to get their own apartment, help them get a job, help them get them off public assistance, but get that sense of worthiness back within each individual. And I feel very good that I'm able to help some of the men and ladies, but mostly the men, because I have a very strong relationship with a lot of the men that I meet inside the workshop and outside the workshop.
I understand that you and Deborah are working to kind of find a way to help some of these artists get their work licensed and eventually, hopefully, to sell some of their pieces. How important is that?
I think that's very important. It gives them a sense of pride that someone else would enjoy their work as much as they enjoy their work and willing to purchase their work. And with Deborah and Rock City Arts, it's another avenue to showcase them to the city of Rochester and the world.
Do not miss this one-night-only event, Out of the Shadows, Making the Invisible Visible Through Art, featuring the new work of artist Richmond Futch Jr. It all takes place on Friday, October 26th. That's from 6 to 9 p.m. at the Revelation Rochester Rock City Art Studios at the Village Gate. For more information, go to revelationrochester.com.